Good day, this is Kenneth J. Enrico, a student of Dr. Edwin R. Arboleda in MENG 203 or CADD, under the Master's degree in Engineering at the Cavite State University, Indang Cavite, Philippines. In this series of video, we are going to learn how to use AutoCAD easily and use basic commands. Before we proceed to the discussion proper, let me just give you a quick overview of what AutoCAD is all about. AutoCAD is a commercial computer-aided design and drafting software application developed and marketed by Autodesk. AutoCAD was first released in December 1982 as a desktop application running on microcomputers with internal graphics controllers. AutoCAD allows you to draw and edit digital 2D and 3D designs more quickly and easily than you could by hand. AutoCAD was commonly used by architects, interior designers, fine artists, engineers, and etc. Okay, so in using AutoCAD, we are required to use a mouse when accessing the software. Okay, there are two types of mouse. We have the two-button mouse and then the three-button mouse. In two-button mouse, there are two parts. One or left click is for pick button. Okay, so if you are going to pick an object inside the AutoCAD application, you have to use the pick button. And then, if you are going to enter an object in a specific area in the AutoCAD application, you have to use the right click or enter button. And on the other hand, we have the three button mouse. One is for pick button, 2 is for snap button, and 3 for enter button. Okay, so same function for the two button mouse of pick button and enter button, but uh, the difference is that the 3 button mouse has the snap button, which is the button number 2. Okay, so along this discussion, we are going to discuss what is snap button and how does it function. Okay, so the older version of three button mouse, the button number 2 is the same as the pick button. It is also clickable, but the newer version or the new version that is used nowadays as three button mouse, the button number 2 is composed of scroll button. Okay, so these are the basic commands that we are going to discuss for this video. One is for line, 2 point, 3 divide, 4 circle, and 5 list. Okay, so let me just switch to my AutoCAD application. Okay, so as you can see, this is the start homepage of the AutoCAD application, wherein you can see your previous AutoCAD projects that you have done. And then, so if you are going to create a new drawing, just click here. Then this interface will appear. So by the way, I am using Autodesk AutoCAD 2021 version, and there are a lot of versions of this software. From uh, there are older version than AutoCAD 2000, and then the latest version is the AutoCAD 2022. So in terms of the environment of the software itself, they are very different from one another. Most especially if you are using older version of AutoCAD, it is different from this environment. Okay, so now let's proceed to our discussion proper. Okay, first command is line. So to insert a line or to draw a line in this software, there are two techniques. One is to just click the button, line button, in the upper part of your screen. Then if you are going to insert a line, you must first specify your first point. So let's just say I'm going to insert a line here in this point. Then of course we are creating a line, so it must have a second point. So let's just say this is my second point. Okay. So that's how you insert a line using a line button. And then another technique is to just type your command. So since I want to insert a line, I will just type line. Or there is a shortcut for line, which is L. Type L, then hit enter, then specify your first point from here to here. Okay, just remember that if you are going to create a line, it must have its first point and then the second point. Okay, so let's try to create a shape using line. So let's just say we want to create a triangle. First, specify your first point, second point. So since it is a triangle, there are 3 points. Okay, so that's how you create a shape using line. So let's try to create a rectangle or square. Okay, so if you could notice, the lines that I have created are not in straight position. Okay, from this point to this, it is hard for us to create a straight line in this software, but there is a button wherein we can enable to automatically create a straight line even if our cursor is not in straight line. So let me just show you how to do that. You just have to activate your ortho mode. So ortho mode is capable of creating a straight line easily. Okay, so let me just turn on my ortho mode. So you just have to click here, the ortho mode or shortcut for F8. Okay, so since I have activated my ortho mode, okay, so as you can see, if I am going to create a line, if you can observe, even if my cursor is not in line with my first point, the line is still in straight line. So that's how ortho mode works. It makes your line straight even if your cursor is not aligned with your first point. Okay, so if you are going to create a straight line, so it is advisable for us to use ortho mode. Okay. And then after this line, we have to discuss uh, the OSNAP mode. After ortho mode, we have the OSNAP mode. So it is as mentioned earlier, the scroll button in your mouse. Okay, so in my case, I'm not using the scroll button. Instead, I am using the OSNAP button here. So since uh, it is already activated, and as you can observe, while I'm accessing an object, uh, it shows the endpoint of the object or the midpoint and etc. So the OSNAP is a tool that can make you access the specified or uh, desired point in your selected object. So let's say for example, uh, this line is selected and you want to access the midpoint of this line. Okay, so how are you going to do that? So you just have to uh, turn on or enable your OSNAP mode. And then if you are going to create a line, let's say you want to create a line in the midpoint of this object. So as you can see, as my OSNAP is activated, I can now access the midpoint of this line easily. Okay, so I want to create line in the endpoint of this line, and it is already access the endpoint and the midpoint of this object. Okay, so that's how ortho mode and OSNAP mode works. Okay, so next is our command point. So if you want to insert a point anywhere in this software, you just have to type point, or shortcut is PO. Okay, so let's try to insert a point anywhere here. So as you can see, the size of my point can't barely see by our eyes, so it is hard for us to see this tiny small of point. So let's try to insert more points here. Okay, so that's how you insert a point. So let's say that you want to customize your point, or you want to increase the size of your point. So there is a way of doing that. So you just have to type ddp type, and then uh, this window will pop up wherein you can customize your point. So by default, our point is in this style. So as you can see, it is by default, and the default point size of your point is 5%. So let's say you want to increase the size, you just have to edit this point size. Let's say you want your point to be 10% bigger. Point. Sorry, it did not work. 100. Okay. So there is just a delay. Let's do that again. I want to customize my point. I want to increase the size by 10%. I think it's just taking its time to load. Let's say 50. I'm wondering why does it not working. 100. Okay, moving forward, I think it's just taking its time to load. Okay, so that's how you insert a point in AutoCAD. So what is the point in putting a point in this software? Okay, so I can say that when you are inserting or creating a point in this software, it can be a basis or your reference wherein you can make it as your guide to insert an object. Let's say you want to insert an object near this line. So you can type point and you can make it as your reference that you want to insert a line near this line. So that's the point. Okay, so now moving forward, the next command that we are going to use is command divide. From the word itself, we are going to divide a selected object in our desired segment of how many segments or blocks we want to divide the selected objects. Okay, so let's say we want to divide this line. Okay, so you just have to type divide or div for shortcut. Select the object that you want to divide. Since we want to divide this object, we are going to select this. Okay, and then how many segments you want to divide this line? So let's say we want to divide it by 5. So let me just customize my point. Okay, so we can't see the indication of division. Okay, so since we adjusted the size of your point by 100%, that's why our point here is bigger than before. Let's make it by default by 5%. Okay, so now my point is working. Okay, so our previous command is divide, and it is used for dividing a selected object in our desired segments. So since we said that this line must be divided by 5, so I use the command div or divide, and I specify the number of segments. Okay, so let's count if it is divided by 5. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so our divide or division works in this line. Okay, so let's say we want to divide this line by 10. Okay, so automatically uh, we we have divided this line easily and faster and easily. Okay, so that's how you divide an object in this platform. And then the next command is circle. Okay, same as line, there are two options that you can do to insert a circle in this platform. First is the button circle. You just have to click this circle button, specify your point where you want to insert your circle. Okay, click the area and then adjust based on your desired size of your circle. Okay, so that's how you insert a circle in 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 clicking the circle button. And then the next option is to type circle or C as your shortcut command. Okay, and then you have to specify your point where you want to insert your circle. Okay, so that's how you create a circle in AutoCAD. You just have to click circle button or type C circle or C as shortcut commands. Okay, so next is the last command, which is list. Okay, so if you are going to review or you want to view the attributes of your desired object, so let's say we want to know the properties of this line, you just have to type the command list or li for shortcut command, and then after typing that command you have to select the object that you want to view the properties. Okay, so shown in the screen is the properties of your selected object. So I selected this line that I want to view the properties, and then this pops up. Okay, by using the list, I have known that this line is have the length of 1753. Okay, so let's say we want to know the properties of this circle. You just have to type li for list, select object, and I selected the circle and then hit enter. Okay, now we know that this circle has the circumference of 3080.7703. Okay, so that's how you create or review the properties of your selected object. Okay, so that's it for this first video. I hope you learned something from this, and see you on the next video.